I don't want to hold my phone, so I'm putting it on a tripod, and then I'm going to hook it into, hold on.
That's all right. Got to take your time. I got to announce it anyway. Nobody knows who I'm talking to yet.
Oh, good. Hold on. I have to squeeze this thing, apparently.
Okay.
Okay. Hooking into a tripod. Can you see me now?
I see your picture yet. I don't see you yet. But that's okay.
Am I good now?
Still not yet. Still see your picture. When you come across, I'll let you know.
Okay, let me know.
Not yet.
No?
Not yet. It's okay. It's really okay.
Would you be able to see me now?
Let's see if it comes across. Still your picture.
That's weird.
I know. These software like this is crazy. And the one I sent you, StreamYard, is even crazier, but sometimes it works well. But I do want to introduce this lovely lady that is an amazing lady. I mean, I didn't even know half of the stuff that she's done. I mean, like I said, I listened to her on a friend's podcast on Blog Talk Radio a while ago. And of course, that friend was Joanne Barton. This is actually a incredible lady. She has done so much in the entertainment business. She has been with the Monroes. She's a singer. She was with the roller derby. I mean, you've got a whole exclusive resume of incredible movies and TV series. The incredible Tammy Locke. I mean, how do I introduce somebody like you?
Hello. I'm trying to figure out why I can't see me.
Don't even worry about it.
Well, I'm going to rotate. Maybe that's the reason why.
You can hear me. You can hear me.
I can hear you.
I sent you to Facebook, so I sent you the link to Facebook, so you'll be able to see the show when we're done with it.
Oh, yeah, I can't see that.
That's okay. You can still hear me, and you know that I'm just not a voice.
So people can see me on Facebook now?
They can see not you, but they see your picture.
No, I want them to see.
I know, but I can't.
Because they need to see that I'm okay. I'm out of the hospital and all that.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. I just found out recently that happened to you.
Yes.
So what happened?
It was pretty awful. A couple of weeks ago, I took in a little stray kitten that was very sick. Oh, and this is not the first time. I'm a cat lady, I guess you could say, sort of.
Right.
And I was nursing it back to health, and I noticed it had some sort of a skin issue. And so I took it down to the vet, and the vet let me know that it was some sort of a mange. Well, I guess I stressed out so much, I then came down with a massive case of hives.
Oh, boy.
And let me tell you, good gosh almighty, that was the most horrible thing I've ever seen in my life. It was just absolutely, just itching and hurting, and oh gosh, it was just all over my chest, all over my stomach, on my back. It was everywhere.
And this is from the mange?
No, it was from stress.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, boy.
It was from stress, just trying to make the kitten better. And so I was forced to make a choice, which was not a hard choice, but it was an uncomfortable choice. And that was to take the kitten to the Inland Empire SPCA and let them have it, because I have two gorgeous Great Pyrenees dogs and two inside cats, and I could not afford to have any one of them get what that poor little kitten had.
Oh.
And so I took it to the SPCA and turned it over to them, and they're healing it, and then it'll go up for adoption. So I'm happy about that part. Well, just about that time, I came down during my hives. I came down with the most horrible left-hand side uh, shooting pains from my side. And then I couldn't move
Wow.
and I couldn't walk. Then it spread to the middle. So now it's not just hurting on the left, it's hurting in the middle. And then it spread to my right side. So now my sister-in-law says, you might have appendicitis on top of my hives.
Oh no.
So then I waited a couple of days because I didn't want to incur the charge of a hospital. You're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No, it's crazy. It's just crazy.
And we are a home that lost everything about 15 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was during a 7-year period where none of us worked, but the bills kept still coming in.
Yes, they always do. Yes.
So we had to cash out everything just to keep our home. And I mean everything.
I don't know what
So
that is.
there's nothing left. It's sad to say, but it happened, 15 years ago. And so unfortunately, we've been, check to check and doing the best we can, basically.
Right.
So now here we're hit with COVID and not wanting another bill.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was actually in the midst of being hired by a corporation because I'd been working there over a year on a contract.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So
Oh my God.
they stopped the requisition. They stopped in hiring me and they laid me off because of COVID in May.
Oh my God.
So here I am with all of these things. And I didn't want to go into a hospital and get another bill.
I know.
So I stayed at home and I suffered through it for quite a few days. And it just got to where I couldn't do it any longer. I went down to urgent care.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent me over to emergency in the hospital because I needed immediate medicine.
Right. Sure.
Immediate.
Wow.
So
Well, you were right. What was it? An appendicitis? Is that what it was?
it was not actually. It's diverticulitis.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I know a lot of people in that kind of thing with the lower intestine and the stomach and oh my God. Yeah. The seeds get embedded in the lining and it's painful.
Absolutely horrible. I have been a horse all of my life. I have never, ever been sick. And quite a few years ago,
you're a tough girl. I can see by
I try to be.
Well, you still are. Don't
Years ago.
Not yet. You still are.
Yeah, many years ago, I was really sick, and I mean really sick. And I was sick for about 3 months. And my sister-in-law is a doctor, and she said, "Okay, go down to GNC and get a herb known as elderberry."
Yes.
And so Tom, my husband, ran down to GNC, got the elderberry, came back, and she says, "Okay, now take 2 capsules for 5 days." Yep. I was completely well on the second day. Completely well.
Wonderful.
Whatever I had for 3 months, it was completely gone.
That's wonderful.
And so she goes, "Now, Tammy, now that you're well," she goes, "I know that the bottle says 2 in the morning, 2 at night, but you don't need that. Just take 1 for the rest of your life." And that's what I've been taking. And I've literally in probably 15 years been sick for maybe a couple of hours. I've never been down. I've only been sick for a couple hours and then it would go away. So maybe twice in 15 years.
Wow.
Because of the elderberry.
Yeah.
And it was really funny. Not really, but sort of. When Dr. Fauci in the beginning of this whole COVID thing says, one of the things you all should be getting is elderberry. And I'm like, oh, I'm already 15 years in front of you.
And the zinc. Don't forget zinc. No.
Exactly. So I was already taking it. So I was good to go, and literally since I've been, never sick, this whole hives thing and then the diverticulitis, it's literally threw me through a loop because I'm not used to it. I'm used to being a horse and forging through, basically. So, but I'm better now.
Good.
The hives are gone. The residual, of course, of your scabs, because they break out into a scab, they're still there, but they're going away.
Mhm.
And the diverticulitis, it's just a new way of having to live as far as eating. And I'm very blessed that I have a doctor for a sister-in-law, and I have a nurse across the street from me,
Nice.
an RN.
Nice.
So I'm very blessed to be surrounded by medical attention. And so um, it's just a new way of eating, but it's not very much different from what I'm used to because um, like you're really not supposed to eat red meat, they claim, but according to the RN across the street says that's not really, too bad for you. So, but I don't eat a lot of meat anyways. I'm like a 3-bite person and then I give the rest of it away.
Well, I mean, not to hinder what you're talking about, because I totally get what you're saying. I mean, I can sympathize with you as far as pain, because the last couple weeks I've had tremendous amount of pain on my right side, which I thought was
Uh-oh.
a kidney stone. But I always had
Oh,
back pain, and that resurfaced, and now I've got the kidney stone or whatever it was there that was causing it.
oh no.
And now that's gone. But it was like a belt. Every time you breathe, it was like a belt tightening up. You
Oh,
couldn't breathe.
yes. And
And
that's
then,
how it was with me
yeah,
as
and then
well,
it went
breathing.
away when I changed my diet, and it went away with certain things I've been doing. I've been resting a lot more, and I've been,
That's
uh,
right.
and drinking a lot more liquids, which I always tell people to drink a lot of lemon water and a lot of lemon juice
Yes,
and lime juice and all that stuff that's
absolutely.
good for you. But other than, don't drink any soda, anything acid building, anything with seeds in it. I eat cucumbers, but I eat the seedless cucumbers, organic ones. They're great. They're hydrating and they're great for your body.
There
So
we go. On the path of wellness.
that's it, right?
I
That's
eat
it.
a lot of seedless watermelon. They say that that's really good for
Yeah,
us. So
it is.
I eat, watermelon every single time or every single day, probably twice or 3 times a day as a snack. That's my snack.
That's
So
good. That's a good snack.
yeah,
It's
yeah, great snack.
it's actually low in glycogen sugar,
Yes,
and also great for your body because it hydrates. It's good for your skin. It's good for
exactly.
everything.
So
But let's talk about not health. Let's talk about your
no problem.
career.
I'm all about that.
Your career, you started with the Monroes, and tell me what that was like, because that was a huge hit for people.
Well, that was now the phone's going to ring in back of me, so don't even worry about that.
That's
But
okay.
anyways, I
You're good.
didn't start in the Monroes. I actually fell into the business by accident. I was 18 months old, and my sister was going out for a role as Sally Lawrence in The Voice of Charlie Pont.
Oh, okay.
And that the mother and father was Robert Redford and Diana Hyland.
Oh, wow.
And so Bill Bixby was in it and a lot of other people. But anyways, so my mother couldn't find a babysitter, so she had to bring me with her to my sister Cheryl's audition.
Hmm.
And my mother left me with the secretary. And then the secretary went out for a cup of coffee and left an 18-month-old child right there in the seat. And so I had to go to the little ladies' room. So I walked into where my mom and my sister were. And I said, Mommy potty, Mommy potty. And the director and the producer and all the people that were in that room with my sister and my mother looked at me, and they looked at my sister, and then they looked at me, and they looked at my mother, and they said, we want her, not her.
Wow. What
So my very first thing in the business was where I was the daughter of the very famous Robert Redford and Diana Hyland. Now, I don't know if you know who Diana Hyland was, but she was John Travolta's, I believe, first love that died in his arms, sad to say.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I know a little bit about music and movies, but I don't know the inner depths of every character that's in the movie or the names.
right.
I only know so many.
Well, I did a movie with Anne Margaret, Aylin Delon, and Jack Palance after that, where I was Aylin and Anne Margaret's daughter. And I did a TV pilot called Meet Me in St. Louis with Morgan Brittany, Celeste Holm, and Wesley
Saw the
Addy,
list. Yeah.
and Shelley Fabre.
Yeah, she was in that. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you buy the very famous DVD of Meet Me in St. Louis with Judy Garland and Margaret O'Brien,
Uh-huh.
I'm on the other DVD inside of that package.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
'Cause
so
we
you
have
can
that
get
one.
it. It's out there.
We do have that. I think we have that version.
Yeah, it's absolutely in there. I'm on the right side, Judy Garland's on the left.
Wow, I gotta check that out. I didn't know that was you. I didn't know that was
But
you.
anyway, so I guess it was about the time that I was in Once a Thief, that the head of 20th Century Fox saw me in that movie and called, I believe, my agent, which was Mitzi McGregor at the time, and asked my mother to bring me down for an audition.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mother brought me down, and as we were walking into the office of that executive of 20th Century Fox, I ran past him, ran over, got behind his desk, jumped up on his chair, threw my legs up onto his desk, kicked
Right.
him, kind of like in a kicking type situation. Then I got on his phone and I pretended that I was on a big phone call business meeting. And he says, Miss Locke, he says, if your little girl can do that, she just landed herself the role of Amy Monroe in the TV series The Monroes.
Oh wow, that's how it happened. That is so cool. Well, you had like everything was happenstance for you, right?
Yes, it seems like it. Yes.
Wow.
I remember my father telling us a story about when we were on the Monroes. I don't know who the director was, but something was going on to where he decided that all of the lines that I learned during the night he didn't want, and he wanted them rewritten and relearned immediately for me to deliver
Mhm.
on the behind the camera. And he said, my father, they called for my father and they flew him a red eye out to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where we were filming.
Mhm.
And my father walked up to the mountain, on the top of the mountain, overlooking the shooting scene. And Noah Berry Jr. was up there, and he says, Mr. Locke, he says, don't you worry, your little girl, she learned those extra lines and delivered them without a problem. Don't you worry. She's got the acting bug just naturally, Mr. Locke. Don't you worry. She's a good little girl. So that's what happened there. And
What an
I remember
incredible like
going to school for the very first time
right?
ever, a public school. They all wanted to see how I colored. So I had to bring my coloring books to school, and I don't know, what the infatuation there is, but okay.
Now, when did you become? It says you become Tammy Jean and the California Express.
That is correct. Well, my middle name is Jean,
Right.
and I didn't want to go as Locke because I was already internationally and nationally known as Tammy Locke.
Right.
So my name was
Started
Miss
another
Tammy
persona.
Jean. I didn't want
I get
people
it. I get it.
already, I didn't want people already having an infatuation or a dislike if they didn't like me. I didn't want them forming an opinion prior to hearing my vocal ability.
Uh-huh.
And so I actually met the California Express, which is it was Dennis Orr, Russ
Mhm.
Paul Orr,
Mhm.
Sam Aiello, which was my drummer. Russ was my guitarist. Dennis was my bass guitarist. Marty Rifkin was well, Marty knew like 10 or 13 instruments by then. And then we got Christopher Nielsen, and later on it was Jeffrey Steele. Jeffrey didn't stay with us. I only sang with him maybe twice on a couple of occasions, but the rest of them, we toured all over, and it was always known as Miss Tammy Jean and the California Express. And so, oh, there we go. That's Marty on the right.
Yeah.
And Dennis right next to him, Sammy right next to him, and Russ on the left. And I don't know if anybody knows this, but Marty Rifkin is a very accomplished, for many years now, including today, record producer.
I
He's
thought
worked
that's who
with,
it was. Yeah.
yeah, he's worked with very, very named people, probably pretty much everybody in the business. But one of them was Bruce Springsteen, and who else? Elton John, many. I can't even name all of them that he's worked with. But about a year ago, back in June, I called Marty up because I had recently seen him at our cousin's house for a wedding. He was playing there with some other people in a band.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't believe I saw him, and it was just love at first sight all over again. And I adore him. I respect him. I admire him. I absolutely adore and respect and admire his wife, Mona. Beautiful, beautiful lady. She's a nurse. And it was wonderful seeing her again. Him after all of these years. And so last year in June, I decided to call him up because I do a lot of lives, or I did go lives on Facebook, and I'll get emails or texts saying, you're always talking about this song or that song. Would you please, record something for us to hear? So I called Marty and I said, Marty, I want to come into the recording studio. Will you help me do one song? And he says, absolutely. Are you here yet? I said, no, not yet. So we scheduled a date, and it took us 2.5 hours. I brought the track with me, and it took us 2.5 hours. He mastered it, and I uploaded it to CD Baby. So any app that is a downloadable music app, you can find my song. It's under Tammy, I think it's under Tammy Locke, and it's called Hurt. And it was originally done by, I believe, Elvis Presley.
Okay.
But the version that I chose to love was Juice Newton back in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
And so I did that song, and now it's on CD Baby and Spotify and whatever apps there is for downloadable music. So you can find that there. And then I have a website called TammyLocke.com.
Wow. Let's get into your roller derby days. I didn't even know you played roller derby.
Oh, yes. I was actually introduced to John Hall and Ralphie Valadares, very famous men of the LA T-Birds.
Yeah, I remember them.
Yep. And so I was introduced to him by a friend of mine that was an entertainer, Mr. Troy Walker. And when my sister and I, Cheryl, we were invited down to the roller rink, which was in Pico Rivera, basically.
Right.
And John and Ralphie were watching me skate. Now, I used to skate with those metal skates when I was a kid and stuff like that. So I was basically just kind of like revising, I guess you could say, getting back into it. And having fun. And I noticed that they had in this roller rink, the bank track at the back of the room.
Right.
Or back of the building, basically. And I kept watching and, being very infatuated. And John came rolling up to me with Ralphie, and they both said, would you like to try it out? And I'm like, yes.
To go
and
get her
so
in
they
you,
got
right?
me. Yeah, they got me up on the bank track and was teaching me how to block, how to jump over people, how to do different things that are used in professional roller derby. And the next thing I know, I was invited that night to be on the Detroit Devils. Well, it was actually, he wanted me on the LA T-Birds at the time, but Georgia Haas and El Fabuloso were fighting over me because they were the opposite team's manager.
God,
And so Georgia won. And so I ended up being number 22 on the Detroit Devils.
so that's number 22. You're right. Okay. Yeah. I see over there. Okay.
Yep.
Oh my
Yep.
God. Amazing people. Do you think that this is off the topic, but do you think that roller derby was trying to be like more professional wrestling was the interaction type of thing? Or,
Well,
or
I
was
mean,
it
if
its
you're
own
talking
thing?
about scripted, it
Yeah.
was scripted.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
However, no holds bar, basically. Once you got up there, um, people basically, just let it all hang out and just did, just played the game. We had a blast. I was hurt a lot
I guess you were.
because I was only about 105 pounds, I think, at the time. Um, and I remember one time my father used to tell this for years. It was we were having a game at the Olympic Auditorium, which all of my games were at the time.
Right.
I did not go on tour with them wherever they went. I did not do that because I was being torn between roller derby and singing with my band, and I chose singing with my band, and that's why I left roller derby. But my father told this till the day that he died, where he watched me on television, and one of the T-Bird girls, um, she picked me up and threw me over the railings. And it's
Hmm.
not supposed to go like that. You're supposed to throw them into the railings
Right.
so that your fall is, much softer. But she chose not to do that. And I don't know why, but maybe she found out who I was when I was a young girl. I've noticed all of my life that when people find out, who I am, uh, things are different for whatever reason. So she threw me over the railing, and I ended up on my back in the seats that were there. And I was like so mad when I got up because it hurt me so bad that I forgot about the pain and I ran after her. I had been riding horses ever since I was a little girl. So I grabbed the railing and threw my whole body over the railing like you would swing up onto a horse. And then I skated after her. I grabbed her and I threw her into the infield, and I jumped on her and I was bashing her head into the concrete.
Right.
And
Oh my goodness.
she wasn't supposed to do that. And she did anyway. So then John Hall came over and he grabbed me and he threw me over his shoulder and he's like, "You're not supposed to do that." And I said, "Well, you tell her she wasn't supposed to almost break my back by throwing me into the chairs."
Oh boy.
So, I think after that, I skated some more games, and then I kind of just basically chose singing with my band instead because I noticed it was just was better for me, healthier for me,
Oh yeah.
and I made more of what do you want to call it? I made more of a reaction from people. I gave them great feelings. Uh, Maybe they thought about past memories or whatever it was. I brought them back to yesteryear on some of them. An old couple came walking up to me, and after I had sung, I believe it was Crazy, and I had just come off the stage with my band, and the old woman said, "My husband and I are here tonight because we wanted to go dancing and we hadn't been together. We lived together. We've been married together for like 50 years, but we hadn't been in love for that long. It's
Oh.
been, you just get to that point." And
Hmm.
I said, "Oh my gosh." I said, "Well, I hope you enjoyed, your dancing and stuff." She says, "Well, we fell back in love when we heard you sing Crazy."
Oh, and that's sweet.
So that was pretty awesome,
Yeah,
getting
it
a
is.
you know, a 50-year-old couple that'd been married for 50 years back together again. That was just the most awesome thing in the world.
Yeah, when you get stuff like that, and not only that, some of your pictures. I mean, I just saw a picture of you with Batman. I mean,
Oh yes, yes.
what was that?
They put us together for a publicity shot because I don't remember if I was the lead into Batman or if Batman. I think it was Batman was the lead into the Monroes.
Mm-hmm.
So his show was before mine, and that's why they put us together.
Wow, that's really cool. I'm gonna try to find the picture and I'm gonna put it up there for you. But that is really cool too, because who didn't like the Batman?
I know. Well, at the time, I didn't watch a lot of TV back then. I was studying scripts and things like that. So I didn't know who Batman was.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
probably too small for people to see, but I really didn't know him. I knew him to be a wonderful man.
Yeah.
That I did know. He picked me
Yes.
up and he put me on his
Oh,
lap, and he
sweet.
was talking to me, and he was so sweet, and he kissed me on the cheek, and I giggled, and um, it was just a really awesome time. I had my little box purse with me, and then in the back cave they took a publicity shot where I was looking up at him, and I think I had a Batman t-shirt on, but I'm not sure. I can't remember. But all of that time with him, with Adam West, was magical.
Yeah.
What a wonderful man.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
And many years ago, um, I actually, David Eckleby and Martin Grams owned the Hollywood show, I believe, at the time, or was it Ray Quartz and Sharon Quartz? I don't remember. But anyways, Adam West was there, and I brought one of the photos that had not circulated the social media, and I put it down in front of him, and his manager grabbed it real quick and said, "I've never seen this one." I said, "Well, I'm the little girl in it." And so Adam West signed it for me then, and he looked up at me and he says, "You don't look any different."
Yeah,
So
you
that
see how
was
cute you
pretty
were.
awesome. I
Yeah.
wish he would have stood up and hugged me. That would have just made it all worthwhile. But uh, it is what it is, and I cherish the moments that I do have. So
No, that's good. And I love this one too. I just saw this one and I'm just going to bring this up to you, but I want to get back to your career because your career has been amazing. Um, and when you say it, you'll see what I mean. Let's see. Let me find it here. Here it is. You know who that is, right?
that's Clint Howard.
So what's going on there? Of course, Ronnie Howard's brother and from
Of
Gentle Ben,
course.
right? Gentle Ben
Yeah.
and many other things he's been in. Clint.
Yes. Clint Howard was, I guess you could call him my on-set boyfriend back then. I
Oh,
adored him, and I still adore him to today. His father, Rance, well, their father,
mhm.
Rance, was my acting coach
Oh,
on the
that's so cool.
Monroes.
That is so
Yeah,
cool.
so Rance was on my show, Clint was on my show, Ronnie was on my show, and I found the button on Reason Why
I
You
see
Couldn't See
you.
Me.
Beautiful. You look beautiful. You look as
Couldn't
good as I
even
saw you last year. God bless you. My God. You do.
I'm like, why can't I see me?
You look great. You look absolutely great.
There.
I mean, for a person that went what you went through and the smile that you have
I
is infectious. Oh my God, you're an amazing person. So, so, so you said, did you say that you were on Fame too?
No, no, I was not. No. Um, I believe the time that you and I were at the Chiller show, the cast of Fame was in the same room I was
Oh,
signing
okay.
in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were on the Monroes, you were in all these. Did you do a lot of cameos too, like later on in years?
I'm sure
Different
I did. I
shows?
did a lot of commercials like for Hammond organs, some fertilizer company, Franco American, Mother's Cookies. Um,
Wow.
I did a lot of different
Yeah.
commercials, basically.
Yeah, you just like I said, and your music. I gotta check out your music. Um, I'm looking at these pictures, on the side, and I'm like, I just see all these great people like Roddy McDowell and Jerry Marin from,
Oh, Jerry Marin. I was
Marin.
the first. Can you see me?
I
I
see you.
can't see me.
I
But
can see.
anyways,
I
Jerry
can see
Marin
you.
was Oscar of Oscar Mayer Wieners.
I thought so. And wasn't
And
he also in Wizard of Oz? Was he also?
pardon me?
Wasn't he in a Wizard of Oz as well?
Absolutely.
I thought
He
so.
was he was one of the lollipop kids.
Oh, yeah, it's so cool. Because me and my wife,
And
we
it's
love those
funny
songs.
because when my
Yeah.
son was born, I the ringtone for my son is the lollipop song,
Oh, so
basically.
cool. Yeah,
But I was Jerry Marin's first co-pilot in the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
wow. That's great. What do you mean when it went to the different state fairs and stuff in the years?
Pardon me?
When it went like because I seen it when I was younger with my parents at the state
Yeah.
fair in New Jersey.
Would you believe I've never seen a commercial to today, with me in it with him? I don't know, but I know I was in it
It's probably
because
out there. It's got
it's
to be out
part
there.
of my resume that my mother made up. So I was in a lot of commercials. Hanna-Barbera, I was a voiceover actor for them. I do a lot. I do voices. I do voices. No.
You do. I didn't know that. See, I learn about the people when I talk to them. And now when somebody asks me, do you know a woman that does voices? I go, yeah, I got Tammy Locke. She'll do voiceovers. And then you'll get the money and he'll be happy and you'll be happy.
There we go. There we go. It was funny because one of my best friends in the entire world, who is now not with us any longer, rest in peace.
Mhm.
I called him Billy Bob, but he invited me to a what is her first name? Waters, Maxine Waters
Right.
party. And this was, oh my gosh, when was this? Many years ago. I think my son was like, he had to be like 12 or 13 maybe.
Mhm.
And so he was in the back seat. We were driving to this party, and my son's playing this video game on his cell phone. And I had my music on, of course, and I kept hearing something
Yeah.
in the back of my head. And I didn't know what it was because I had my music up so loud. And I'm like, what is that? And I turned off my music really quick, and it was me. It was me on his video game.
You're doing a voiceover.
Somebody went on my website and went to the characters and downloaded Tootie. I have a character known as Tootie. Of
Right.
course, I played her as well
Right.
in Meet Me in St. Louis. But I had a little character that I made up. She's 5 years old, and she's got the biggest blue eyes and long
Okay.
eyelashes and curly hair with spritz of straight and stuff. And she's just got this imagination that the world is this huge oyster or pearl, and she's just an amazing little girl. And so I created a voice for
Mhm.
that, and I uploaded it to my website, and whoever did it, they heard it, they downloaded it, and they actually put it in their video game. And so
That's so cool.
I didn't know who did it. People say, well, you should find them and sue them, for not asking you for permission. And I'm like, well, but I'm being heard all over the world for free. And someday maybe somebody will pay attention and say, they should have paid you back then, or something like
Oh, I
that.
understand.
And maybe they're right. Maybe. Anson Williams and we talked, in
Yeah,
extent
we talked
about.
about this a couple of years ago. He's a real
Oh,
nice
did
guy.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, real nice guy.
He's a friend of mine, but he and I talked in extent in regards to that audio that was basically stolen off of my website and put on that video game. But there's a lot of battles in this world, and I see a lot of good in what happened. I see that there's millions of children that are listening to Tootie, and if I had gone after them, they would have probably stopped it. And yes, and if they see this, this whole me talking about it, maybe they'll send me a check. I would love that. But, there's a lot of battles in this world, and you got to choose and pick your battles.
No,
And
you're right.
I just, I told Anson, I'm just not, I don't want to go after that. I see a lot of good in it. A lot of children are hearing Tootie and maybe envisioning
Oh,
how I envision her. And
right.
maybe it's putting them on the right path because of what the script that I wrote, that I delivered. Maybe it's putting them on the right path. So I chose never to go after them or find out why they did it or any of that, because I saw it benefiting and not taking away.
That's beautiful, because the positiveness of it is you're getting heard all over the world for free.
Yeah.
And if you had to give and take anything, would have that happened if the person didn't steal it? So they got to think about that. You're 100%
Yeah. You got to
right.
choose and pick your battles,
You're 100% right with that. I had the
You
same
know,
type of issue.
everybody is so much about money, 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 money. And I don't have a dime to my name, but
We
I'm
don't
happy.
either,
I know, especially
but
now
we're
with
happy
COVID.
and we're smiling and
know,
we're enjoying life, right?
it's like somebody hire me for heaven's sakes.
It'll
But
happen again. It'll happen
I
again.
mean, I'm many things. I'm not just a former child movie and TV star. I'm a professional roller derby queen. I had my own radio show,
Yeah,
the
let's talk
Tammy
about your
Locke
radio
show.
show.
Yep, I sure did. I interviewed up and coming country stars,
I love that.
and how I obtained those stars is, if you go on my Facebook, there is a photo of an album that was put out by the famous cowboy in Anaheim, Jack Wade's Cowboy.
Mhm.
And the gentleman that put it out was at that point. I don't know what role he played for Jack, but his name was Johnny Berger, or is. I don't know if he's still living or not.
Right.
But Johnny had put that album out, and he had all of these country stars on that album. So that's where I got my interviewees, basically. I interviewed everybody on that album, and that's what my radio show was all about. I had recently, and I mean, and when I say recently, I'm talking about the past couple of weeks. Well, actually, no, the past month. I came across the show on cassette,
Nice.
my radio show. So
Right.
I sent it off to my favorite place that I use all the time to transfer from cassette onto a flash drive, DVD Your Memories in Irvine, I think it is.
Mhm.
And I had them uploaded onto the flash drive. So from this point on, I'm going to upload those to my website so people will hear uh, the radio show back then. So
Right.
I'm excited to do that. I haven't done it yet. I just got the box a couple of days ago, and I really haven't gone in and done anything with it. I also found a bunch of other cassettes that were of my shows with the California Express. So I had all of that transferred um, through DVD Your Memories.
Mhm.
And now I've got the flash drive. So I'm going to start uploading that stuff to my website, and we'll just see what goes from there. But
How many
right
shows?
now,
How
what
many
I'm
shows are
doing,
there, Tammy? How many shows?
um, I have 5 cassettes, but I don't think it's one show per each cassette, because there
Okay.
were many more
Mhm.
people on that album. I don't know how many people. I can't think of, I can't see the album right now.
Right.
One, two,
Right.
three.
Right.
It's like 10 people. So maybe it was 2 shows per cassette. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
It was a short-lived radio show because we ran out of money, and so I couldn't do it any longer at the
Sorry.
time.
Yeah.
But it was at 93.5 KFOX on the Redondo Beach Pier.
Nice. That's not. I mean, listen, accomplishment, an accomplishment, right? It doesn't matter how long it lasts. It's still something that you did, and you did it well.
I did. And, Jean, the reason why I was able to do all this, I don't know if you know this, but I'm also an inventor. My father was a huge inventor for
Nice.
Northrop Corporation, Northrop Aerospace, Northrop
Nice.
Grumman.
Okay.
And most of his inventions still work to this day at their different sites. But there were three girls in our family, and
Mhm.
I'm the only one with the inventor foresight. If I work with something, no matter what it is, I'm able to foresee whatever it is and make it better. So I invented something for the Northrop Corporation back then, because I was working for them I think I worked for them for a total of 13 years. I invented something. They put me in charge of a test section for the stability of your leading edges for the F-18 and speed brake.
Wow.
And I was put in charge of the test section, and they gave me like 4 tools to create these tests that in turn, when they were made, they would put them in an autoclave, uh, an airtight autoclave bag basically, and put it in an
Right.
autoclave. But anyways, so I build these tests, and I said, you want me to use all 4 of these tools? And they said, yes, we do. And I said, okay. And I didn't understand why all 4 of them. It just seemed so laborious to me.
Yes.
So I worked with them for I did what they asked me for
Hmm.
about 3 months. And then Northrop at that time had what is called a suggestion award box. And so I took those tools, and I saw in my dreams what I could create. And so I wrote up the blueprint on it, and I submitted it, and they accepted it and paid me for it.
Hmm.
So I'm also an inventor.
That's, and like I said, you never can count people out. I mean, because look at me, I might write a story by the time that I wrote a song last year. Bonfire was up for a Grammy nomination, and I did it with a co-partner in Nashville. And I didn't see that
Wow.
coming
You go,
anywhere,
boy.
right? Right? You didn't see it
Yeah.
coming anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just like, let's go to the next step. Well, the next step is motivational speaking on tour.
Exactly.
And
Now that's what I would love to do.
well, I can
I
take you
really
on tour with
would.
me. I take you on, if we start again. I was supposed to be with
I would
places.
love to speak to people, because I've been through some horrific
Yeah.
events in my life. I
Hmm.
mean, I've been raped and beaten to a pulp many times.
Sorry.
And thank you, but no need for anyone to say that, because
Right.
I'm a survivor.
Right.
I am a survivor. I'm an independent
That a
soul.
girl.
Inside and outside, I'm a loving and, human
You are.
being. And I know I can conquer anything that I'm challenged with. I don't need to go see a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I know how to fix myself.
Hmm.
And I just do.
Yes.
It's called choice. It's called choice. We are all born on this God green earth by whatever God you have in your life.
Right.
And one thing that he gives us, or she gives us, is choice. I choose.
I love that.
And so right now I'm writing a book about my life. And one of the things that I was raised on by my father and my mother
Hmm.
throughout my whole life with them, as soon as I was able to understand what they were saying when I was a little girl, if I said to my father, Daddy, I can't do that, or Mommy, I can't do that, my dad will always reinforce it by saying, Tammy, can't, got stuck in the mud and it's still there. Choose another way. But I always thought he meant the cat,
Oh,
because I was so little, I didn't know any
that's
better.
so cute. Yeah.
So I always tried to keep that dadgum cat out of that dadgum mud all my life. So I guess the bottom line here is I can do anything.
Yeah. And we
I
all
can,
can.
I can choose what I want. If whatever I chose is not going well,
Flip
I
the
can choose
script.
another way, and I won't be I will not, fail. in whatever I was choosing at the time, because I'm allowed to choose another way before it happens.
Yeah, you
So
can,
therefore, you end up being, uh, achieving everything that you ever go out for and try to achieve.
right. Flip the script. Yeah, I actually have a show I'm working on with another person supposed to be starting in October, the middle of October. It's for spirituality. And this lady has been a spiritual person for 30 years, and she said this is the right time for humanity to
Yeah.
get on board and start believing in themselves, because
Yeah.
we're our own gods, we're our
You
own
have
creators.
to.
I know.
You have to. Who else is going to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself?
A lot
There's
of people
nobody
don't.
that's going to believe in you
I know.
because they can sense it.
You're absolutely right. Positivity always
So,
breeds more. Yeah, I agree. I
so
love
the
you
name
because
of
you're
my
so
book,
positive.
Gene,
What's that?
the name of my book
Yeah.
is Can't Got Stuck in the Mud, Choose Another Way.
Oh, that's so cool.
Can't got stuck in the mud and it's still there. Choose another way.
I love that. I love that. And where can they get the book if anybody wants to buy the book?
I'm almost finished with it. It's not published
Okay.
yet. Matter of fact, right now I think I'm going to go with Amazon Publish, but I don't know yet. Nobody has approached me. No publishers have approached me and said, "Oh, Tammy, I want your story." But all the stories are written. What I have a ghostwriter. Her name is uh, Pastor Ray Sunshine Lee. She holds many hats. She's an amazing woman, absolutely amazing woman. She's a writer. She's a published author in science fiction movie books.
Right.
She's an actor. She played the role of Shrimp God number one on Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie, and she played John C. Riley's cousin on something out for Stephen Brule. Check it out with Stephen Brule on the
Okay.
Swim Channel.
Okay.
So she's an actor. She's a paralegal. She is a social worker. She's an amazing woman with
Wow.
many hats. Right now, she's in Michigan with her mother-in-law and her wonderful husband, Pastor Greg Lee. And she's my ghostwriter. So what I would do in my book is I'm writing the stories out of my head and I'm dictating them through my computer because I don't, I mean, I type, but it's just easier to dictate it.
Mhm.
And so I send her all of the stories, every single one of them. And then what she does is she puts them into a more of a proper uh, Christian spin on it, basically.
Mhm.
And so the book is written. I'm just now uploading all the photos to go along with all the stories. And once that's done, then I can publish it. It's got to be published before I go to Chiller, or I'm going to be doing the Roanoke, Virginia. I can't think of the show. Darn it. I'm going to be doing an autograph show in Roanoke, Virginia in April.
Okay.
I'll have to post what the show is. I just can't think of what it is. But
Okay.
Dr. Fred Eichelman and his beautiful wife and Carol Carol Eichelman as well, and she's helping me with my genealogy. His daughter. And so once she finishes, that'll be the very last story is my genealogy and who I'm basically related to. That is a historical individual, basically. So what I did was for the cover of the book, I put a national contest out, and I gave them two tools to create the drawing for the front of my book. And the tools were an open can and my headshot.
Right.
And that's all I gave them. And I asked them to think out of the box and create a drawing of me using these two tools and then send it to me. And I'll choose one, and that will be the front of the cover of my book. The gentleman that won, his name is Peter McDonald, and he lives in New Zealand, and that will be the cover of my book.
Oh, that's sweet. I love that. I love how you did that too. I want you to meet, I don't know, you might even know her, my friend Marnine Lynn Field. She was a stunt woman, one of the first stunt women that was in $6 Million Man and
Oh,
Wild
wow.
Woman. She's a sweetheart of a person. She's also a singer,
Rodney might know.
songwriter, author, and all that. And she lives out in California. So
Oh,
you guys
wow.
are like sisters because your careers parallel each other.
Yeah.
And she's just an amazing person. She's won so many awards and
Wow. I
things.
don't know her, but maybe my best friend Rodney Allen Rippey does because he
Rodney
was in,
probably does. Yeah. And
yeah, he was in $6 Million Man. So he probably knows who she is.
I didn't meet Rodney that day because of all the craziness going
The
on.
hoopla.
Right. I mean, isn't that, I mean, I love that the fact that everybody, you get to meet them, but you got to wait these long lines. I've
Oh,
got
yeah.
bad back. I can't stand there and wait. I don't want to bring a wheelchair. I don't want to bring a cane. I don't want to
Yeah.
look like I'm, handicapped and stuff. I just want to meet people and leave, and
Yeah.
shake their hands, get, a picture of them just like I did with you. But that's it, and,
Yeah.
I don't mind paying the extra money. I mean, there's some celebrities, I don't want to talk about who they are, but there's some celebrities that really want you to buy a lot of their stuff because they
Yeah.
figure that if they can make more money off of you, then it doesn't matter what they make off other people. So,
I know.
oh, one, by the way, at that convention, you did meet my daughter, DJ Danny. She got her foot stepped on by Richard Dreyfuss. That was,
Oh,
and the funny thing is, we didn't even know it was him. And
oh
here's the
no.
way God works. Here's the way God works. At the same room where we were in Parsippany, her boyfriend now, his mom and dad were at the same room that happened because I was meeting Tim Matheson.
Wow.
I was meeting Tim Matheson, and I said, "Are you kidding me?" She says, "No, they remember the person stepping on your foot." Because
Oh,
the
wow.
mom was waiting for somebody else. I was waiting to meet Karen Allen after I met Tim Matheson in that one room. And of
Yeah.
course, there was other people there. And Richard Dreyfuss is like, "Excuse me, get out of the way." And he stepped on her toe. I'm like, "Who is this?" I was going to yell at him. He goes, "You don't know that's Richard Dreyfuss." I go, "Go get an autograph from him. He owes you one for
The
free."
heck with that. I would have used the opportunity to say, now you just stepped on my foot. My foot hurts. Would you hold it just for a moment so we could take a photo?
He probably would have. I mean, he was such a nice guy. He waited so long, And
Yeah.
I give it to you guys, celebrities. You got to be there early in the morning, and some don't get up to a certain time.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and it's a rough time for some of them because
It's a rough
during the
life.
daytime. Yeah,
And
I
as a
know.
little girl, I used to get up at 2 and 3 a.m. in the morning and we had to be on set by 5. So, and we didn't live close to Los Angeles at the time. So we had to drive all that way.
Wow.
But I did want to tell you about a quick story, if I
Yeah, go ahead.
may.
Absolutely. Go
Uh,
ahead.
are we live on Facebook? Hi,
Yes, we
everybody.
are live on Facebook, and yeah, a couple people are watching us, and then of
Just a
course we're
couple?
live on the radio. Well, you know what it is? It's Facebook. Facebook blocks a lot of the shows. So the
Oh,
other show, the other Zoom that I had set up, I put us on every freaking group. And now that one didn't work, I got to go
oh,
after this show, put us on all the groups that I couldn't put us on
oh,
because of
okay.
the show. So
Well, 3 years ago,
I
I was
apologize.
at well, I wasn't at SAG-AFTRA, but they threw a viewing party for Hidden Figures,
Hmm.
the movie Hidden Figures with
Yeah,
Kevin Costner.
yeah.
So I went there with a friend of mine, basically. And Kevin Costner, when he came down off the stage, I told my friend that I was going to go over there and talk to him. She says, "You're not supposed to." And I said, "Well, I'm going to do it anyways." So I went and I pulled him aside and I told him who I was. I introduced myself. And he says, "Tammy," he said, "I know the Monroes. I grew up watching it." He says it was great. It had great story writers.
Hmm.
It had great, uh, the location was beautiful, Jackson Hole, Wyoming. So what I'm trying to do right now, there's a super fan. Her name's Deborah Courtwright. And her mother made her watch the Monroes. And so then she fell in love with it. Well, she was an accomplished script writer and many other things.
All right.
And so she wrote a movie of the Monroes 20 years into their future. And I want somebody to come on board like Netflix or Hulu or
Right.
uh, Amazon or somebody to finance and get this whole thing rolling, because the script that she wrote is just wonderful. The twists and turns. If people are a fan of the Monroes and watched it religiously, the twists and turns in this movie is unbelievable, and they will never expect it. But it's such a wonderful script, and I want somebody to come on with finance, and I would absolutely love if Kevin Costner would executive produce and direct it. Absolutely love it. I mean, if it was his favorite show, why wouldn't he? But trying to get
I see
all
where
of
you're going.
this,
Yeah, I
you
see
know,
what you're
trying to get it all
Have faith, my
started,
dear. Have faith.
it's so hard. It's so hard. I can't
Have,
even tell you.
yeah, but have faith. Have faith, because I'm not saying that I can do anything, but I
Oh,
can
I
get
know.
you in touch with other people that may be able to do something. Like, I'm friends with some of the guys from Shark Tank and some of the women from Shark Tank. Anthony.
Oh, wow.
So
If any one of them used to watch the Monroes.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If I don't know, just like when I used to watch Lost in Space, I'm friends with Billy Mooney.
Me too.
And
Grew
he's
up with him.
right. I'm right,
I didn't
right,
even
because
tell you.
Sound of
I
Music
didn't
and
even
all
tell
right,
you.
right. And then when we talk and we chat, we say, it brings back so many memories, but you guys were so great to watch. The actors and the actresses were amazing, just like the Monroes. It depends on the genre it touched, the people's hearts it touched. I know I have a friend, his name is
Yeah.
Brett Weston. He believes in all the 60s countries and Western music. He actually performs that on stage. Not a lot of artists do that today. Johnny Cash, Tumbling Tumbleweeds, and all that other stuff, and in the form of how it sounds. So, there's a lot of people
Yeah.
out there who like to recreate things,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
constantly bringing
It's,
things back, right?
it's amazing, because a lot of people don't know this, but I have been trying to get the Monroes to be released on DVD for over 20 years.
Wow.
I was literally inundating phone calls, and I spoke to the same lady. She's still there. It just amazes me after all these years. But her name's Trin Ding, and she works for 20th Century Fox.
Right.
And I hope I'm not illegal by saying all of this, by the
No,
way.
you're not. No, you're not illegal. No, you're not illegal.
Okay, great. But anyways, I spoke to her for many, many years. Oh my gosh. Emails, phone calls. I always asked her, I said, will you please release the Monroes? I said, I can't even tell you
Right.
how many thousands of phone calls or emails or whatever it is have been contacting me. They want to see the Monroes on DVD. Well, back then it was a VHS, right?
Right.
So she says, no, we will never release it, she said. But she says, I can sell you 2 episodes, each at $100 each. I said, what? I said, but there's 26 episodes. She goes, I'm sorry. Nobody gets the entire 26 episodes. We will not sell it to one person. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I went ahead and I chose the 2 episodes that I really wanted, because I was basically desperate back then. And so I got them on video on VHS, but their logo streams across the whole bottom, which just totally blocks out the entire scenery.
Wow.
And so for years, I begged. Then all of a sudden, 3 years ago, and I was consistent, by the way. It wasn't just sporadic or every once in a while. I was consistent almost every day, every week, every month. Finally, 3 years ago, 20th Century Fox sold the rights to Shout Factory. And it went out on DVD 3 years ago, September 6th. And it was only assigned for Walmart in store to release it, to sell it. Nobody else. Here, after all these years of me begging, finally, they sold it. Shout remastered it. It was put up on the shelves, and on YouTube, there is a video of the day that it was released on September 6th, 3 years ago. And I went go live, and I walked into Walmart, after all of my hard work, and I feel like I'm going to cry right now.
I know.
And I walked in Walmart, and I didn't know if I was illegal by being go live in their, their show. And it's so funny. I look back on it, and I'm going, shh, quiet, don't say anything. I'm talking to go live as if they're live.
Right,
saying, don't talk.
Right.
Such a ninny.
That's funny.
And I ran into this guy. What was his name? Like DJ or no, Junior, JR. And I said, I understand. Well, I told him who I was, and I showed him, you know, the video or the photo of it, and he found it. And I literally broke down in the school here. I mean, in the store.
Oh, yeah.
I was on Go Live. There was no way of cutting, you know, anything. Everything was in raw.
Wow.
And so that whole video's on YouTube of the very first day that was released to Walmart and on the shelf. And I bought the very first copy.
Oh, wow.
And guess who I gave that very first copy to?
I don't know.
Barbara Hershey.
Oh, that's so sweet.
When she was at Chiller, that was the copy that I gave her.
Oh, that's so nice of you. I mean, you're so wonderful. You're beautiful. You do so much great stuff for other people. You know, it's time that you start shining again. You know,
I wish. I'll hope.
It'll happen.
You know.
It'll happen. You know why it'll happen? Because you know why it'll happen? Because you have a lot of people around you that want to support you and want to make it happen. I know I want to make it happen. I want to make it happen for everybody that wants something to happen.
Yeah.
So eventually God
will. If there's any dream that I could possibly ask Jesus for, it would be the movie. The movie written by Deborah Courtwright. Because I've already got my friends on board, just in a verbal way. I've got my friends on board to play certain roles in this movie.
Right.
And as you can see, I'm already crying because I really want it to come true.
Yeah.
I really want it to come true. So a lot of hard work.
Let's believe in it. We can make it happen, right?
Yeah.
And let me know when your book comes out so we can promote that.
Oh, I will. Absolutely.
Anytime you need me, just let me know. I mean, I'm glad to put you on the radio station and here at the same time because I can do that. I'm the producer and I own the radio station. So
oh wow, that's wonderful.
I'm glad to help you in any way I can. I also
don't mind me. I'm a crier and proud of it.
Me too. I cry a lot too. But I sent you Martin's link so you can friend her, talk to her. She's an awesome this one award. And I also sent you another friend that I just hooked up with yesterday, or actually a friend a week before. He's his name is Eric Zulli. He's I don't want to say he's just a good guy. And he's helped a lot of people, and he's very, very spiritual, very he's Christian, very spiritual and very loving, and wants to see other people succeed. And I said to him, I said, boy, if you and I could get together and we could run this world, there would be nobody that wouldn't succeed.
Yeah.
Because
did I tell you that
happy in love life is so
I know.
I
know. You know what we need, Gene, is a lot more wonderful shows to come out. We've had enough blood, guts, gore.
Totally agree.
Sex, all of the above. We've had enough of it. There's enough out there.
Yes.
We need some good shows, good, wholesome, family oriented, educational shows that inspire and things like that. I don't know if I told you, but when getting back to just this other past conversation that we were having, because I think it's important. When the Monroes was finally delivered on the shelves in Walmart, they couldn't keep it on the shelves.
That's good.
So for about a year, it was on back order the entire time. And then it ventured off into, Amazon and whoever else sells it basically. But what that tells me is that there's a lot of new families out there that watch my TV series.
That's great. Yeah.
And I'm really praying that it is inspiring and that they're falling in love with it. And that's what I'm hoping.
That's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. Well, you've been a delight. I mean, I'm sorry about the Zoom problems, but I mean, I knew when I met you, I said, if I ever get her on the radio or ever get her on Zoom or whatever, We're going to have a great time. I'm going to cry. I'm crying now. I am crying.
I know. I can't stop the
It's a
waterworks. And I don't
sensitivity.
see any napkins anywhere near.
It's the sensitive part of the person and the character, the heart, and everybody that, we try to help. And I'm not saying we can do a lot for a lot of people, but we try.
I know.
Well,
why don't you talk to your shark friends and see if they won't come on board?
No, I will. I will.
It's ready to go, and it's just a wonderful script. And the world needs, and I'm not saying it because I was in it,
right?
But the world needs something like the Monroes.
I agree.
All of the other shows, ventured into, the harsher things of life, and I'm trying to keep it more towards a good wholesome type of thing with just little bits and maybe little peaks of harsher things, not something that's so inundated, where it's overwhelming and that's all you see. I just want the world to heal itself and to be better again, and that means all the people as well.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So where can anybody get your stuff, your music and everything? Can you give the contact information?
Well, Hurt, H-U-R-T, Hurt is on Spotify or CD Baby, internationally as well. They can download it for, 99 cents or something like that. That was done by Marty Rifkin and myself. Mm-hmm. And you can also go on my website, tammylocke.com. If anybody wants to hire me for a speaking thing, I'm available.
And voiceovers too, right? Because I have a lot.
And voiceovers too. Yeah, go on my website and go under the.
Dear. I'm
gonna
go on
to my website and go to the. Huh?
I'm going to give you so much work. You're going to say, "Will this guy stop?"
I wish. But
I'm
go on to my website. Huh?
I'm going to try. I'm going to reach out to people and tell them.
Well, go on to my website under the voiceovers and check out Tootie and find out what's all over the world right now.
Wow, that's
and cool. Her little script and how she sounds.
And you had a couple quotes too. Do you remember the quotes that you did on your?
What about your the life is the only one you have?
No, say that because that's so important to people. Please say that. I read that and I literally cried. I literally cried. I'm like, oh my God, she gets it.
It's the only life that you have. I can't remember the exact quote, but I live by it every single darn day.
I'm sorry, I'll remember it to you. Let's say what it was.
I can't work. I live by it every single solitary.
I know you do. I know.
It's the only life I have, and I embrace it, basically.
And and embrace that too.
What did I say? I forgot.
I'm looking for it now. I can't find. Oh, my motto is enjoy life. It's the only one you have. That's
what I basically said. I just didn't say.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's true. Enjoy your life. It's the only one that you have. You won't get a redo. And everybody's important, but you got to believe it before they will.
Beautiful.
So
and you touch so many lives too. Just keep on doing what you're doing. We'll pray for you. And I'll make sure that I get in touch with these people. I sent you some people, so try to see if you can make that work. If it doesn't, then we'll go to another avenue, but we'll try to get other people involved and work with
I would love for the movie to be remade. I need finance. I've got a company right now that wants me to give them $10,000, I think it is, to create the first portion of what you need to present it in front of a financer.
Well,
so I don't know what it is. It's like a book, photos, all sorts of stuff. And I guess this is the actual package that you present, where you make your speech for, basically.
Right. So. Pitch, yeah. No, I get it. And believe me, we're working on so many things too. So until them things are done, I don't even think we're going to need anybody to finance anything. I think we're going to be making millions and millions of dollars. I'm hoping.
I wish.
Well, I'm hoping it because my
bank account, trust me. My bank account, trust me, will not mind having a deposit of that amount.
Oh, no, absolutely not. How many people you can help, yourself and everybody else. I love that.
Yeah.
So have a great day. It was nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Take care, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless, my dear.
God bless. Bye-bye. Love you too.
Bye-bye.